Very good morning. I'm back for the third unit. So, do you all know what the third unit is about? Can anyone respond? Please put it in a chat box. What third unit is about? Put it in a chat box. Yes, I'm getting responses. Satellite communication. Yes. Okay. So, what do you all know about the satellite communication? Can anyone respond? What do you all know about the satellite communication? Are you able to hear me? Am I audible to everyone? Yes, students, am I audible to everyone? Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, what do you all know about the satellite communication? It is the main to communicate. Yes, what else? Please put it in the chat box. You can chat with everyone. I mean, open to all. Don't send private chat messages. What is the satellite communication? Satellite communication requires much more power than telephone and television, transmitting and receiving, Anirudh has said. Yes, it is a means of wireless communication. Damini Kavya has sent. Kaushik has sent us, it is a wireless-based communication, very good. Then, any other answer from your side? Please do participate in the chat whenever it is being allocated. So it is useful for antenna designs, yeah. So it communicates with the help of wireless antenna. Then it creates communication channel between the source and receiver on your Stravanti. Then communication through satellite. So it is a long way communication by Vida Ramalakshmi. And Dheeraj has said it is a vast worldwide communication. Very good. Okay. So a lot more applications are there for satellite communication. Okay, ma. Thank you. Satellite that facilitates communication as a radio, television. Probably this is the first thing that we get. What is the satellite communication when you Google it? So Venkatesh Sri Kavya has said satellite that facilitates communication as a radio, television, and telephone transmissions by means of the reflection or the amplification and retransmission of signals between the stations. So it is a communication which has become easy. So it sends information via the transponder. Stravanti has said. Jnana Agalya has also responded. So it amplifies radio communications. That is the answer given by Vasu Krishna. Yeah, very good. So these are the simple definitions or simple information that you know about the satellite. Okay, we'll get on to the topic, satellite communication. So, well, you all know that what is a satellite? It is a kind of celestial object. That is, whenever the celestial objects are revolving with respect to another object, it becomes a satellite. Also, we know the natural satellite is also available. So, the first unit we had learned about the telephone communications, which is the wired means of communication. Also, in that we have learned about some kind of, that is the cellular or the wireless means of communication, which is used for the terrestrial communication applications, that is line of sight or the point-to-point communications. So wireless means of communication, that is the cellular communication where the transmitter and receiver will be at the line of sight position. Is it clear? The transmitter and receiver will be at the line of sight position. Do you understand what do you mean by line of sight communication? That is, the transmitter will be able to see the receiver. At the same time, the receiver will be having a focus to the transmitter. That is called the line of sight communication. So it can exist for a little quite a bit of longer or shorter distance, as well as for a quite longer distance. But due to Earth's curvature, we cannot cover or we cannot communicate with the people who are at a very far distance. So in such cases, we make use of this satellite communication. That is why the satellite communication has evolved. Okay, so now let us get into the detailed topic. So what are the things? Let's have a quick view of the topics that we are going to learn in unit number 3, satellite communications. So first we'll start about the introduction and the basics of satellite communication. Then the orbital dynamics, that is, you know what an orbit is. The path that is taken by the satellite around any celestial object is called to be the orbit. So what are the basic dynamics, that is the parameters, factors we need to consider while placing the satellite in its orbit? So we need to, it is going to be a pure physics and mathematics calculations to place a satellite in its orbits. Okay, so we'll learn in detail about the orbital dynamics and the different types of satellite orbits based on its applications, and based on its position in the orbit, we'll learn about the different types. And that is followed by the satellite system. So here is the main system. How do we design a satellite system? What are the system calculations we need to take care of while designing the satellite system? So when we talk about satellite system, it has many subsystems. That is the satellite subsystem and the earth station subsystem. Satellite subsystem is the one that is in the satellite, and earth station subsystem is the one that is at the earth surface. So that we need to establish communication between the earth station and the satellite subsystem. Okay, so how these subsystems are built up, and what are the necessary factors and equipments and the design factors that we need to consider in setting up a satellite subsystem as well as earth station subsystem. Then we'll talk about the satellite frequency band. So once the system is set up, we need to communicate with the help of signals, and what are the frequencies are allocated for establishing the communication between the satellite subsystem and the earth station subsystem. Then we will learn about the satellite applications, the different applications wherein we use for our GPS, military applications, your meteorological department they use. Okay, so many applications are there. So we will learn one by one. Also we have the satellite television. Nowadays all the television channels are being put up with the help of satellite applications only. And also finally we will learn about the noises in satellite communication system and the different multiple access. So when we go for so many channels in a and the frequency of signals using a single channel, we are going for the multiple access methods. So same as we have learned in our telephone communication also. Okay, so here we'll be learning in detail about FDMA and PDMA system. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to learn here. So what is the objective to learn the satellite communication? So before we start any process, we should know its objective. What is the necessity? What is the aim of learning this particular topic in this communication systems? So if we are learning the satellite communication in detail, we will be defining the terms, technical terms such as the posigrade, retrograde, what is the geocenter, what is apogee, perigee, ascending, descending period, angle of inclination, what do you mean by geosynchronous satellites, what is the latitude, what is longitude, and what is meridian. So all these things you will come to know. Okay, these are the important technical parameters or the factors that plays a key role in designing a satellite communication system. So these are the basic definitions, terminologies we should understand. Okay, and if you learn all these things, then we'll move on to the physical principles that is involved in launching a satellite and maintaining that in its orbit. So what are the basic physical and mathematical calculations that we need to understand? You know, the satellite is going to be a, what is that, a kind of a system, and our Earth's surface is a kind of sphere. So it is going to be a mathematical shape. It is going to be a mathematical shape. So we are going to calculate. So what is the position of the satellite in its orbits, and what are the factors we need to consider before maintaining the satellite in its orbit? So that we will understand. Then we will be in a position to draw the block diagram of the communication system in a communication satellite and give its name and explain how it works. And then list the 6 main subsystems that are involved in a satellite. Then we will be in a position to draw the satellite ground station diagram and identifying the 5 main subsystems and explaining the operation of each and every subsystem. Also, we will be learning about the 3 common applications of satellites and the state which is most commonly used for the day-to-day life applications. Then the most important topic here it is the global positioning system, which most of us are familiar with. So well, we have it in our mobile, that the GPS app is there. So how is it functioning? It is functioning with the help of the satellites that is communicating with the GPS app. So that will be through the mobile subscriber. Okay, the mobile is the service provider. They will be communicating the GPS location. So this GPS receiver, all those things we will be learning. So these are the objectives of what we are going to learn in this topic, satellite communication, as part of the unit number 3 in the communication systems. Okay. So before getting into the actual topic, we need to concentrate on I need to tell a history of what is the Satyabhama status. That is, we need to have a, I'm very proud to share with you the information that, we have set, our Satyabhama University has set up a history of launching the Satyabhama SAT in our country, along with ISRO. Okay, so Satyabhama SAT is a so this information some of you would be knowing, and the same kind of information is available in website also. So why I'm insisting here is, before we start the satellite communication, we are very proud to share with you that 3 of our students and the faculty members are involved in this design. Okay, setting up an earth station, ground station. So that is in our block 1, second floor. It is there. Actually, it is in the third floor, I suppose. It is in the third floor of our block 1. So we have the earth station, ground station is there. So this Satyabhama SAT is a micro-experimental satellite developed by the students in the faculty of Satyabhama University to collect the data on greenhouse gases, that is the water vapor content, carbon monoxide content, carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen fluoride content. So this is the diagram of the nano satellite that was developed by our students. So it was launched along with the Cartosat 2C satellite atop the vehicle PSLV C34. It was launched on 22nd June 2016. So it has created a history in Satyabhama for the students being involved in the design of the satellites. So these were the students who were involved along with the faculty members, and these 3 students are from ECE department. So they had successfully launched this satellite, and it was working for the destined days where which it has been designed for. So we are very proud to tell that. So we want some of your students also to get participated and get motivated in designing a kind of a system that would help the society. So this is the kind of information I just wanted to share you before we start the satellite communication. So these are the proud students of ECE department. This is the satellite they have designed, and they are from ECE department. Okay. And apart from this, there are a lot of career opportunities in the government sectors. So once you know the detailed information about the satellite communication, the design specification, and other things, it is the right time to go for and apply for the central government job sector exams. So I just wanted to share this information also, because you are in the 3rd year, and probably by this is the right time to take up all these things. You should get familiarized with all the things happening around. So this ISRO, most of us are familiar with. So this ISRO aims, there is the Indian Space Research Organization, which is the government sector. So it is specifically been, they are they are technically sound in designing the satellites, and they have successfully launched prominent satellites along with our, Indian scientists. Okay, so this ISRO aims at recruiting efficient and proficient employees for this reason, and there is a release of ISRO recruitment 2021 is also there. If you are interested, you can also apply for that. So if you are very curious to attain all important information about that, you can visit the website here. And some of the information also I would like to share. This ISRO examination 2021, it is on the date is on 2nd week of January 2021, and these are the details that is available in www.isrvo.gov.in. You can go and apply there. The portal, the advertisement will be released in the month of October, and you have to submit the online application form, and you have to pay the fee, and the exams will be conducted in the month of January. So it would motivate you for getting prepared for the placements in the next year. Okay, so you can share this information to your friends also who are interested to take up these kind of job. There is many people, they'll be asking, we wanted to go for core companies, this, that, apart from the software companies. Not just saying in words, just you follow it. Okay, you can share this information. All this information are available in the website also. It is www.isro.gov.in. I just wanted to share this information to you people. Okay, let's get into the topic. Okay, now we'll get started with the satellite communication. So what is a satellite? Can anyone of you tell? It is an object that has intentionally placed into the orbit, machine launched into space. So that is technically speaking. I just wanted to ask, what is a satellite? Yeah, it is an artificial body placed into the orbit around the Earth and Moon and another planet in order to collect information or for communication. That is from Jagadish. So it is an artificial body into the orbit or collect information. So it is the vehicle, air antenna. Okay. A satellite is a machine that orbits in a planet or a star. So you are more, what is that? More into the technical part of the thing, machine, or it is a body that revolves on another body. Ramakrishna, that is the answer. Yeah, you're coming closer. Ramakrishna, destination number 180. Vignesh T has answered, collect all information from here. Rutvika has said satellite is an object in space that orbits or circles around the bigger object. Yeah, that's Rutvika is a little bit closer. Yeah, machine that orbits the planet and collect the data, device that gets information about the planet. Okay, Ratnasai, Karthik, Hema, Reshmi Nair, Kishore, artificial moon. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your responses. Okay. So this is what is the simple definition of a satellite, which you know. So now let us see what is a satellite. So satellite is a physical object that orbits or rotates about some celestial body. It need not be a machine. So the simple definition of satellite is, a satellite is a physical object that orbits or rotates about some celestial body. So a body which is rotating with respect to any celestial body in a particular orbit is called to be a satellite. Okay, so this satellite also occurs in nature, that is our own solar system is a perfect example of that, which is that Earth and other planets are satellites which are rotating about the sun with respect to the sun, our solar system, is it not? So sun is the center of our solar system. All the other planets are rotating and revolving with respect to the sun. So this, with respect to sun, all the planets are called to be satellites. In the same way, moon is a satellite to the Earth, which is rotating in an orbit with respect to our Earth. So these are the natural satellites. Okay. Also, a balance between the inertia of rotating satellite at high speed and the gravitational pull of the orbited body keeps the satellite in its place. That is, in the same orbit. It keeps rotating in the same orbit. It does not moves its position. Is it not? That is the balance between the inertia of the rotating satellite at high speed as well as the gravitational pull of the orbit, the center body, orbited body keeps the satellite in its place. So this is the simple definition of a satellite. Now let us see what is the purpose of satellite. Why these objects are just revolving around it. So it is the nature. Okay. And coming to the artificial or man-made object satellites, why we are going for that? As I told you already, in case of terrestrial applications, we cannot go for the longer or the farther distance communications because of the Earth's curvature. So in such cases, we need to make use of these satellites, which could be placed in the Earth's atmosphere or away from the Earth's atmosphere that keeps orbiting around the Earth. Okay, so these satellites are launched and orbited with a variety of purposes. So the most common application is the communication, in which the satellite is used as a repeater, which means that it receives the signal. And somebody has asked a question, what is a celestial body? What is a celestial body? Celestial body is nothing but the, what is that? In universe, the earth, the sun, the moon, and all your meteorites, everything, all these are called to be celestial body, the heavenly bodies. Is it not? That is beyond our, that is a supernatural power. Okay, so these bodies which are making the part of the universe is called to be celestial body. Did I answer, Jagadish? Jagadish, did I answer your question? Yes. So the heavenly bodies, that is the supernatural bodies, that is the sun, moon, earth, stars, your meteorites, everything is called to be the celestial body. Okay. So these natural satellites are revolving around the natural celestial bodies, whereas the man-made satellites, it will be revolving around the earth, because only in earth we have the living beings. Okay, so man-made is revolving, man-made satellites will be revolving around the earth. Okay, so this typical satellite applications include global positioning systems, GPS, which is a worldwide satellite-based navigation system used for satellite radio and TV systems. So this is the purpose we have launched the satellite, or created the satellite, that is being revolving or rotating around the earth with respect to the earth's orbit. Okay, so it will be in same motion as the earth's orbit. Okay, so other than this, the celestial satellites, that is the natural satellites are, so the satellites are divided into natural satellites and artificial satellites. Natural satellites are nothing but the stars, the moons, and all the planets which are revolving around all the celestial bodies which are revolving and rotating with respect to any other celestial body is called to be the, what is that, natural satellites. Other than that, which we have launched for our purpose, are called to be the artificial or man-made satellites. Okay, so purely these satellites are being launched only for establishing communication among us. That is from one position, one place of the Earth's surface to the other's Earth's place of the Earth's curvature. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the other one. Next one is, what is the purpose of satellite? It is continued. So this satellite is a man-made object that orbits another larger object like a planet. So that is the information here. Just once summarize again. Okay, Trinath has asked me to summarize again. So we'll go back, no problem. Okay. That is, you see, the satellite is a physical object that orbits or rotates about some celestial body. Celestial bodies are nothing but the natural, supernatural powers. So our universe, our galaxy, is it not? Our galaxy, what is our galaxy called to be? What is the name of our galaxy? You might have studied in your science, in your lower classes, at school. Milky Way galaxy, very good, very good. So the Milky Way galaxy, our universe is called to be the Milky Way galaxy. So it has millions and millions of uncountable objects revolving around that. So our solar system, is it called? Our solar system in the universe is with respect to the sun at the center. Is it not? Am I right? Yes or not? Please respond to me. With respect to the sun. So our solar system, yes, it is called to be the solar system because sun is the center of our solar system. All the planets are revolving around the sun, okay, with respect to sun at the center. Is it not? So how many planets are here? Yes. Previously it was 9. Trinath has said 9. Previously it was 9. But now scientists have discovered that this Pluto, which is very far, it is not a planet. It is a some kind of any other, what is that, what we can tell, kind of universe, or it's a mass of gas they have discovered. Okay, so that is why they have concluded that. So when we were studying in our school, we used to, what is that, learn us 9 planets. My very educated mother just showed us 9 planets. So that is the way we keep it in our mind, the number of planets. Okay. The last one is Pluto. So now they, after so many discoveries and what is that researchers, they have concluded that Pluto is no longer a planet. It is just a mass of gases. So since it is highly dense, we are able to what is that, see that or view that as a planet. So far it was considered, but now it is concluded that it is not a planet. So we have only 8 planets. Okay, so all these 8 planets are rotating and revolving with respect to sun as the center body, okay, in the solar system. So all these objects are called to be what is that, celestial bodies. So these celestial bodies are called to be the satellites for the sun. Is it not? Because all these planets are rotating with respect to the sun. Okay. In the same way, each and every planet will have their own satellites. So this information also we have learned in our school days. Is it not? So the natural satellite to our what is that Earth? The natural satellite to our Earth is Moon. Is it not? So it absorbs the what is that, light from the sun and gives us the light. So that is why we have the concept of day and night. It is rotating with respect to the Earth's orbit. Similarly, so many other planets are having so many satellites which are revolving with respect to their its own orbit. So these are called celestial bodies and these are called the natural satellites. So why these are rotating with respect to any of the celestial objects? Because the last point you see, the inertia of the rotating satellite with respect to some kind of gravitational pull or some kind of attractive force, what happens? These satellites are getting revolved around a particular orbit. So that keeps in motion with respect to the particular celestial body. And somebody has questioned me, Harini Devi, ma'am, who discovered Pluto is a mass of gas, not a planet? It is not a single man's discovery. It is the conclusion that is given by the NASA scientists. We have done lot of explorations and a lot of physics and mathematical calculations, and by means of a kind of what is that, sophisticated telescopes and other things, they have concluded that. So like so many researchers are being going on for landing Mars, is it not? Land rover now, even our India, we had sent what is that thing to what is Mars. Similar way, so many scientists, it is a kind of teamwork done by NASA, and they have declared that Pluto is no longer a planet. It is just a kind of, yes, what Anirudh is telling, this Mangalyaan, yeah, they have sent a satellite that is for Mars exploration. I'm talking about Pluto. So they have concluded that it is not a planet, it is just a mass of gas and highly densely populated, densely packed mass of gas. That is why it is no longer considered as a planet. But when we are viewing with the help of other sophisticated equipments, it appears to be a planet. It appeared, okay, to be a planet. After the later inventions with the high sophisticated equipments, they have come to a conclusion that it is just a mass of gas. Okay, so this Mangalyaan they have sent for exploration in case of the Mars. Still researchers are going on, so it was a kind of not fully, they have not achieved their mission. So still researchers are going on for exploring so many things in what is that? What is that? ISRO. The ISRO scientists are working on that to explore the detailed information about the Mars. Okay. And let's, have I concluded? Somebody asked me to conclude and summarize. Is it done? Or did you want me to repeat? Who asked me? Somebody asked me. Okay. I think this much of information is enough for right now. Oh, so these are some of the basic informations. Okay. Now, as I told you, so for our own purpose of the longer distance communication, we have gone for the satellite communication. So what is the purpose of that? We will be launching the artificial satellite and placing it in the atmosphere. What does the satellite do? it can be acting as a repeater, which means that it captures the signal from one portion of the earth from the earth station and it repeats to the other portion of the earth, which cannot directly communicate with each other because of the earth's curvature. Okay, so it is going to act as a repeater. In some places, what happens? These satellites will be acting like a transponder, which means that it amplifies the signal and then repeats and then retransmits. Okay, so we'll based on it depends upon different applications that particular satellite is designed for. Okay, now let's get further into that. So, as I told you already, a satellite is a man-made object that orbits another larger object like a planet. Okay, so for us, our artificial planet is a satellite which we have created. Okay, and the communication satellite is a station in space that is used for the telecommunication purposes, the radio communication, and the television signals. Also, we have passive satellite and active satellite. Passive satellite is the one that only reflects the received radio signals back to the earth. So, as I told you, so there will be a satellite and there will be one transmitting station on the earth's surface and one receiving station on the other portion of the earth. So what happens is transmitting station will keep on transmitting signals to the satellite. This passive satellite will capture the signals and then retransmit it back to the, what is that, receiving station. So these satellites are going to be passive satellites, which means that it is just going to act as a communication media, which means that it just captures all the signals and then reflects back. So these satellites are called to be passive satellites. And coming to the other one, type, active satellites. So an active satellite is the one that acts as a repeater. It amplifies the signals received and then retransmits back to the earth. So this transmitting station and the satellite might be at some kind of shorter distance, and it could be, what is that, repeated by means of amplifying the signal and retransmit it back to the earth to the other portion on the earth. So it could also be one-way communication as well as two-way communication. This active satellites. One-way communication means there will be one transmitter, then satellite, and one receiver will be there. So that the transmitting station will keep on transmitting the signals, whereas the satellite will capture and it will keep on transmitting it to the, what is that, the other station, which is just going to act as a receiver. Whereas in case of two-way communication happens, kind of. So the transmitting station will also be acting like a receiving station. Okay, so it keeps receiving signals from the transmitting, that is transmitter 1, and sends to the receiver 1. So this receiver could also act like a transmitter. It processes some kind of information, again retransmit back to the satellite, then that will be transmitted back to the, what is it, the other one, the receiver, which had acted as a transmitter. So in these cases, this transmitting and the receiving station, that is the ground station, should be acting like a transceivers, which will be having the transmission as well as the receiver systems together, all built in together. Okay, so this is about the purpose of satellite and the different, based on the different applications, they are classified as passive satellites and active satellites, as well as based on that the type of communication it is going to establish. It could be a one-way communication satellite or two-way communication satellites. Okay, always have it in mind. Passive satellite means it is going to be inactive. Just it reflects whatever the signal it captures. Whereas in case of active satellites, it repeats. How it repeats? It amplifies the signal and then repeats. Okay. So I hope you have understood this concept. Okay. Next, we'll have a quick history of whatever the satellites that has been launched so far. The first ever satellite that has been launched is the Russian Sputnik 1. So it was launched in the year 1957. So that is the first ever man-made satellite or the artificial satellites launched by the Russian Sputnik. They were the people to launch the first satellite. And in 1958, the first American satellite was launched. It is Explorer 1. And 1959, the first meteorology satellite, Explorer 7, was launched. So this meteorology satellite is nothing but it is used for the climatic study of the climatic and weather applications. Is it clear? Of a particular location. So whatever climatic and weather updates we are getting, it will be based on or it will be received with the help of the meteorological satellites. And in 1960, the first successful passive satellite was launched, that is ECHO-1, and the first successful active satellite, was launched with the name Courier 1B, and the first NASA satellite, it is Explorer Not 8. So these are the names that is being given, identified. Okay. And in April 12, 1961, first man in space. Who is that? Can anyone tell? Neil Armstrong is the one first to land on moon. Yeah. Yuri Gagarin and Neil Armstrong. Okay. So they were able to, yeah, Yuri Gagarin is the fixed man. Okay, many of you have answered. Very good, very good. Okay. And later in 1962, the first telephone communication and the TV broadcast satellite established for the commercial purposes. Previously, it was launched for test applications and other applications for shorter distance communications. And later on in 1962, where the telephone has evolved. Okay, telephone communication and the TV broadcast applications, these satellites were launched. Okay, and the first that is called to be ECHO-1, and the first telecommunication satellites and the first real-time active satellite was launched by AT&T company, that is with the name Telstar-1. And later in 1975 only, we Indians have launched the first satellite. That is nothing but Aryabhatta. So all this, these were the people. The first one to launch the satellite was Russian, then American, and so many people have involved. Okay, but only in 1975, on April 19, we Indians have launched our first satellite, that is Aryabhatta. Okay, so this is kind of information that we need to know before starting into the subject. Okay. So now let us see what are the advantages of satellites. So the advantages of satellites communication over terrestrial communication are, so as I told you, in terrestrial communication we need to have the line of sight communication, which means that the transmitter and receiver should be always be facing each other. That is the line of sight or the point-to-point communication. Whereas because of that, the coverage area is less. What happens? We need to provide more kind of repeaters. Okay, so we need to have so many antennas in different directions for the different wide range of communications. So that were the disadvantage, and all these have been overcome in case of satellite communications. So the coverage area of satellite greatly exceeds that of the terrestrial system. Also, the transmission cost of a satellite is independent of the distance from the center of the coverage area. And the satellite to satellite communication is very precise. That is, it is very exact. So, no loss of information is happening here. Only a very few noises will be added here that could also be rectified. And also, the higher bandwidths are available for use. So, there's other people or with low frequency communications, and it can accommodate so many channels or so many different frequencies could be accommodated as higher or the wider bandwidths are available for the satellite communication systems. So these are some of the advantages of satellite communication. Coming to the disadvantages, so this kind of, it is going to be what is that? A kind of expensive and sophisticated system, satellite communication systems. Therefore, the launching of these satellites into its orbit is quite costly. And also the design phase is also very long, is it not? We have to consider so many factors because we are going to launch the satellite against the nature or against the Earth's gravitational pull, is it not? So whenever we throw some object from the Earth's surface, when we throw up vertically, what happens? It falls back. Is it not? Then you must be wondering how the satellites are getting and placed into the orbit and how this aircraft is flying against the Earth's gravitational pull. So many factors we need to consider And so design phase is also quite lengthy and very long, and also it requires a lot of manpower and it is very expensive. Therefore, launching of satellites into its orbit is quite costly. Also, the satellite bandwidths gradually become used up by so many people. So nowadays, as we have crowded and polluted in our Earth's surface, nowadays our Earth's atmosphere is also being polluted by launching so many satellites. Nowadays, it has become a kind of getting a license from the people and launching their own satellites for different applications. And these satellites also have some kind of life period. So beyond this life period, what happens? It becomes dead. It becomes a dead object. What happens? Simply, it will be floating in the Earth's atmosphere. So because when we go against that escape with the help of escape velocity, when we go away from the Earth's atmosphere, gravitation will not be there. We will be simply floating, is it not? So these satellite objects will also be floating like a dead objects. So that is also being polluted. Our atmosphere is also getting polluted. And the last 5 disadvantages, there is a larger propagation delay in the satellite communication than the terrestrial communication. So as we don't have the point-to-point communication, what happens? There is a propagation delay occurring here. So these are some of the disadvantages of the satellite communications. So even though it has so many disadvantages, we have to think into the what is the positive part of it. We have a lot of many advantages over other different means of communications. That is why we go for satellite communication. Okay. Now we'll move on to the orbital dynamics. So what is an orbit? So as I told you, the satellite is an object that revolves or rotates around any celestial body with respect to any celestial body in the center, and it takes a defined path. That path is called to be the orbit. The path taken by the satellite to rotate around any celestial body is called to be an orbit. So this satellite are being launched and kept in an orbit. Is it not? We are focusing or we are making the satellite to be in that particular orbit. How is it happening? Because as I told you, what happens when we throw something, any object from Earth's surface, what happens? It will fall back because of the gravitational force. If we go in very fast with the help of escape velocity, we go away from the atmosphere, we will float. Is it not? So these both are contradictory. Am I right? So that is, when we are within the limit of Earth's gravitational force, what happens? When we throw some object, it will fall back to Earth. And when we move away from the Earth's atmosphere, what happens? It will float. Okay, but how? These satellites are orbiting in a defined path, in a fixed path. How is it happening? Can anyone tell me? I'm going to, you can unmute yourself and tell. How is it happening? Have you ever thought of this concept? That is, when you throw some object from Earth's surface vertically above, when you are within the limit of Earth's gravitational force within the atmosphere, it will fall back. Is it not? Same way, when we go away from the Earth and that is above the Earth's atmosphere, there is no gravitational pull. Is it not? What happens? We will be floating. But how? These satellites are taking a defined path in the Earth orbit. Can any one of you tell? Make a guess. Centripetal force. Yeah. Centrifugal is something opposite to that. Am I right? Yes, away from the point. Centrifugal is something away from the point. The force with which the object goes away from the nucleus, that is centrifugal. Centripetal, with respect to the balance between the centripetal and centrifugal. Very good. Ratnasai has answered the correct answer. Very good. Many of you have made a good guess. Yeah, that is also right. Centrifugal away from a point. So the balance between the centripetal and the centrifugal force that you are applying makes the object to rotate in a defined orbit. Is it clear? So that is the concept here. Okay. Very good. Many of you have responded. So now let us see. So we need to understand the orbital dynamics, how it could be done. So it is all pure mathematical and physics calculations with respect to a sphere. Okay, because our Earth's surface is a sphere with the center as the geocenter. So these satellites are going to make an orbit with geocenter, with respect to the geocenter. The ability to launch a satellite and keep in a particular orbit depends upon the well-known and physics and mathematical laws that are referred to collectively known as orbital dynamics. So what are the laws you know with respect to the satellite communication? You would have learned in your physics. We can post it in the chat box. Law of planetary motion? Yes, very good. Kaushik has answered Kepler's law. Kepler's law of planetary motion. Yes. So that comes into the picture. Okay. So as you have learned all these things in detail, we are not going to learn in detail about these laws. So just we'll have a quick view of how we are going to launch a satellite. How it is happening. So I think probably it is going to be a very long topic. We'll see in the next class. Can anyone summarize what are the topics we have learned? Yeah, I'm getting responses. Purpose of satellite, satellite purpose, disadvantage, intro of satellite. Yes. Yes. Purpose of satellite. Utvika, Jennifer has responded. Somebody is talking. Suresh?
What is a satellite?
Yes.
Purpose of satellites.
Very good.
Advantage and disadvantages of satellite.
Very good.
Orbit dynamics.
Very good.
Again, history of satellites.
Very
That's it.
good. That's it. One important thing I told you that you forgot. What is that? Future.
Career opportunities in government sector.
That is only important for you people. Theory you can study anywhere. Okay, that you should have it in mind. Okay, so today itself you go and try to explore things and try to find, try to find where you can place yourself. Understand? Okay, so these are the topics we have covered here. So the introduction, what is the history of, what is the purpose of satellite, and after learning all these things, what could be the outcome of the topics, whatever we are learning, what we would be understanding, and what is the objective of learning the satellite communication. Ma'am, eligibility for that exam is only final years. Yes, is only final years, pre-final years. You can keep preparing for that from right now. So it is not as easy as you think. Okay, so that is why I have given an input to you. Please make use of it. Okay. See you then. Please go through the topics, whatever we have learned today. Okay. Thank you.